Hello people, after what seems to have been quite some time, I finally am able to record PS3 again, though I fear this particular recording may be a failure. Yes, I do have Wyvern Powder, okay. This particular recording might be a failure though because my microphone is acting buggy on me. It let me hear what the computer is playing, but for some reason it seems to have issue picking up my voice. And that's kind of important when you're doing a fucking recording. Anyways, I've done a little bit of practice. I know 2 of the 3 areas that the Thieves Guild Chief Headmaster, whoever you want to call her, was talking about in regards to thievery, and one of them is up north through this cave. So yeah, as I said, I don't know where that third one is, specifically the, people to the west, I believe. I do not know specifically what she means by that, but I will quickly find out in my practice file after I do this video. I am almost done this JRPG, and I'm thinking that after I do this, my next JRPG is going to be the updated version of the original Final Fantasy, not the Nintendo version, obviously the PlayStation PSP version, because, well, for one, it fixes some of the glitches. And 2, you know, updated graphics, always a good thing. Do I need to use an herb? No. Okay. As you can tell, I haven't level grinded Geralt and Ramona to max. I thought the max level cap was 20. It turns out to be significantly higher than 20, so, yeah. Who knows, I may not even have to level grind these people to max, but chances are I'm going to attempt to anyways. This is, after all, me. We're talking about if I can level grind to max, I gladly will. My computer just made a noise. It sounds like there's an update for OneDrive or whatever. I'll do that later after I'm done recording and editing this video. We are almost done this LP. We've officially got one more chapter to go, and that's the intermission, and the intermission is, well, short. It's long in that you get to, recruit, for lack of a better term, animal buddies, or bad guys. What the heck is crawling on my arm? Shoo fly, go away. But that's about it. And remember when I said for a game called Dragon Fantasy Book 1, there doesn't seem to be very many... damn computer, very many dragons in it? Well, we're not going to find any dragons in this chapter, I'll tell you that much. But don't worry, spoiler alert, skip ahead 10 seconds, there is a dragon in the intermission chapter. Now, take that as you may, but there is, at the very least, a dragon in a game called Dragon Fantasy Book 1. I feel a burp coming on, oh shit. Oh, maybe not. I don't need to heal. Excuse me, I did feel a burp coming on, okay. Yeah. So I've been doing a practice file on my beta for the inevitable Final Fantasy playthrough LP I'm going to be doing. It's very, very grind heavy for me, but again, as I've said all throughout this LP, and all chances are for every JRPG LP I ever do, level grinding is just something I always do. I always level grind, if not to max, as close to max as I possibly can. Now, shoot, I wanted to see what that was. Anyways, again, for, the original Final Fantasy, the PSP, PlayStation Vita version, I'm not going to, be playing on easy. I'll be playing on the normal difficulty. I don't know what the difference between easy and normal difficulty is, but I will tell you right now that the difficulty for me in Final Fantasy has to do with, well, where the fuck am I supposed to go next? It has nothing to do with enemies or lack of funds or anything like that. It's a no. Where the hell am I expected to go? And in case you haven't noticed, I am not exploring every nook and cranny of this cave looking for treasure. Well, that's because, treasure in this cave consists of herbs, antidotes, and shit like that. There's very little gold, and also, we're going to be saving our gold for the passports, and, you know, what little gold you find in treasure chests, just not worth it. Not worth it. I believe, actually, you know what, no. I won't spoil it for you, but if you've played this game, you know that, you know, the gold you get finding these treasures for the Thief Guild does eventually add up, and you're able to afford the passports. And frankly, what little gold you find in treasure chests is just, you know, even if it were something like 500 gold, well, in the grand scheme of things, 500 gold is bloody pocket change. And also, this particular cave is rather mazy and labyrinthian, if labyrinthian is a word, and I want to get through it as quickly as humanly possible. I don't want to endure it for longer than I already have, just simply because I have a fear that I'm going to be getting lost in this cave, and I think I only have one rope. I don't think there's any place in town where you can buy ropes in this game. I know you can buy wyvern powder, but ropes, I am unaware of any place. Keep in mind there's only 2 towns, Jobport and Sandheim, and from what little I've seen, no ropes. Now, again, Nick, I could theoretically go through each and every chest and look for ropes, you know, that way, like I likely would be doing if I were playing my game on my own time, but I don't want to do that. I want to get to the treasure as soon as possible. Which, yay, we found it. And then use a wyvern powder to get back as quickly as humanly possible. Now, is it pronounced wyvern or wyvern? I've always pronounced it wyvern. In fact, I have a wyvern tattooed on my right arm, but I don't know how it's pronounced. I think it's wyvern, but that's kind of the problem when you learn words as you read. You're not sure how they're pronounced. If you ever meet someone and they mispronounce a word that you think shall be known to pronounce, do not judge them, okay? I guarantee you they learned that word by reading, so do not laugh at them. Just, Oh shit, I don't have a rope, son of a bitch. I have to walk out of this cave. Fuck, anyways, do not judge them. Just have them, correct your mistake, but do it in a nice way. And know that they learned that word through reading. And let's be honest, reading, actually, I shouldn't say it's a rarity nowadays. I do know a lot of people who read, but I also know that reading seems to be anyways a rather unpopular form of entertainment. And I think that's somewhat of a shame. There are only really two forms of entertainment I like, reading and video games. Music, I kind of find entertaining, but I'd rather read a book. Movies and television, I'm going to be honest with you, I do not have the attention span to pay attention to a 2-hour movie or even a half-hour television program. I'd rather read. Reading, you can, read a chapter, 5-10 minutes, read a book, go do something else, go back to it, read for 5-10 minutes, go do something else afterwards, and that's pretty much how I read. I'm reading a book my dad gave me, and while it's a hard copy Tom Clancy book, it's called Commander-in-Chief. Tom Clancy didn't actually write this. This was written posthumously. It was written after he died. It's, I'm looking at the author now. It was written by Mark Greaney, who, if I understand, co-wrote some Tom Clancy books while he was still alive. Tom Clancy I like, so he's an author I am not a big fan of. But I am, as I said, trying to get into authors who, at the very least, are still alive. Most of the authors I read have been dead for, well over 100 years. My favorite author is Fyodor Dostoevsky, and that is post-Soviet era Russia. That's 1800s, I think late 1800s, but still, that's 1800s. I recently got into Stephen King, and he's actually pretty good. From what I've heard of Stephen King, people who are more familiar with Stephen King than I am, he got a little bit more weird. It's not exactly the proper term, but significantly different after his car crash. But you know what? I still like it. I don't necessarily find it to be a true horror book. I find it more somewhat suspense. I guess the last Stephen book I read was The Shining, and I guess that could be argued as somewhat of a horror novel, but I find it more somewhat of a fictional suspense thriller novel. Mr. Mercedes was the first book I ever read from Stephen King, and that is, again, a thriller suspense novel, by no means horror at all. There is no, supernatural aspect to Mr. Mercedes at all. And I understand there's a series to it, which I will be picking up as soon as I possibly can. The next book I read after Mr. Mercedes. You'll have to excuse me. I know I speak with a lisp. That's because I was partially deaf when I was younger. And I also know I confuse my words at times. I have what I call verbal dyslexia. I don't know quite how to explain it, but essentially the thoughts in my head travel way, way faster than my mouth can keep up, and I have a very hard time communicating verbally because of it. You might often find that I stop and go in my when I speak to videos online, and that's because I am trying desperately for my mouth to keep up with my brain. I have to slow my brain down because by the time I say one word, my brain is like already 10-20 sentences ahead. It's quite the inconvenience. It's also why I prefer communicating over mediums like Skype or Facebook messaging. I wouldn't necessarily say phone text because I just don't like typing on a touchscreen. Though again, with my new LG G4, that's a little bit more tolerable. Just a little bit so. Again, the fact that I can change the size of the keyboard helps tremendously, but I am just simply a slow typer when it comes to text messaging, and I also have a tendency to at least attempt to type both with correct spelling words and grammatically correct. Or at least as grammatically correct as I can make it. I know with me being an author, I'm expected to somewhat be of a, potential soon to be published author. I'm expected to have a bit of professionalism when it comes to the written word, but in all honesty, I'm one of these people where I believe getting your communication across is more important than proper grammar. I'd much rather be understood than be grammatically correct. And that's the way I feel English is progressing. English taught in university and high schools does not allow for for lack of a better term, evolution of the English language as a whole. You know, words like, well, for one, YOLO, and I can't say the word, but, well, you know, whenever you buy a new Oxford English dictionary from a, store or whatever, it's updated, I believe, yearly, and there can be well over 1,000 words from last year's dictionary to this year's dictionary. Living things are not the only thing that evolve. Culture evolves, language evolves, fashion, video games, entertainment, everything evolves, some slowly, some quickly. Anyways, I just got 10 grand for that rock. I am going to edit this and end it here. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.